Hi, I'm Alex Bean. I'm going to be your host today for your Factory for Good podcast. And with us, we have McKenzie Bauer from Thread Wallets. So we're excited to talk to McKenzie and kind of hear the story. Introduce yourself.
Yeah. Oh, okay. McKenzie Bauer. Yeah. Founder of Thread Wallets. We've been at it for almost 10 years. And the backstory of Thread. Okay. So my husband and I met in end of 2013 at a small university in the middle of the ocean in Hawaii, North Shore, Oahu, BYU, Hawaii. And when my husband was over there, there's some back and forth there because he was an athlete and played for both BYU Provo and BYU Hawaii soccer. And he bounced back and forth, playing different semesters out there. And he was over there my last semester of college, which is when we were first introduced. And while he was out there, he was his first semester and he was super excited to get into the ocean, as most people are when they first get out there, learn how to surf. And he jumped into the ocean with his wallet in his pocket and lost his wallet. And then, of course, went to replace his wallet after he'd lost everything and searched men's wallets on Google. And when he was searching for a new wallet, all he could find was just an endless scroll of chunky bifold wallets.
Leather,
yes.
Wallet.
Yeah. And when I say I speak at a lot of universities or get asked to speak to high school students, and whenever I reference the George Costanza Seinfeld episode. Yeah. Like no one gets it anymore, which is really sad because not a lot of people nowadays
watch
like
the Seinfeld,
young kids have seen Seinfeld where it's like the wallet is so thick where you can't even sit down. But yeah, that's like what he saw, and he was like, "That's not the kind of wallet I need." So his wheels started spinning there. Like he's an entrepreneur at heart, so he was like, "I don't want a big bifold." And then he was an entrepreneur. He was in entrepreneur classes, and then he came back from BYU Hawaii and was in classes at BYU Provo, and was in more entrepreneurial classes and business classes, and they were spending a lot of time on Kickstarter, and the class I think that he was in was like how to get a Kickstarter up and running in like 24 hours or something like that. Yep. And so he was spending a lot of time on Kickstarter, like researching projects that had done well and had been successfully funded. And a lot of these projects on Kickstarter were for minimalist wallets. So he had seen this this need in his own life for a minimalist wallet, and then all these Kickstarter projects that had been successfully funded for minimalist wallets. And he was like, okay, there's obviously a greater need than my own for minimalist wallets. But similarly to what he saw when he did his own search, these minimalist wallets were just really boring. They were like brown leather, black elastic, just like very, very plain and simple. And this was around the time that we started officially dating. So he came to me and was like, I want something like better than what I've seen. And he had really admired brands like Stance Socks, Skull Candy headphones, Neff headwear, brands that had taken a really simple,
a boring
product and brought a lot of life to it and expression.
So literally Thread Wallets has been your entire relationship.
Yeah. Our entire relationship.
So who are you guys considered co-founders in together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, yeah.
And then who was CEO? Who how did you break that down?
Yeah.
How did you guys actually figure that out?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. So like in the earliest days, so this was the beginning of 2014, we kind of just like did everything together. Like we were ideating the product. He went and got like the white elastic from Joann's, found a way to print and design on the elastic with a process called sublimation. I helped him sew them. Help design them with the elastic keyring or the elastic, the keyring on it. And then I started kind of like taking over the social media. He immediately kind of fell into the product designer role and like operational side of things. And I kind of took to the marketing side of things. So we kind of started to like fall into our own little lanes, but there was conflict there of like who owns what. And yeah, it was kind of messy at first, but we learned very quickly that we had to like define our roles and navigate that.
When you started Thread Wallets,
yeah.
What was the point? What was the goal? Right? Like, was there like, oh, we want to build this to be so big, or it was a fun project? Like,
yeah.
What was the purpose of starting with Thread Wallets?
Yeah, that's a good question. So my husband, he was in this class that like he had to do a Kickstarter campaign.
Okay.
So he was kind of like, I could use this for the class, and he needed his own minimalist wallet to solve his own need. And then I started using it because I was like, I don't like carrying a purse. I am not a purse person. So I fell in love with the product itself. And when we sat and started crunching the numbers, it was kind of just supposed to be like a lifestyle business that could fund our own life. Like we sat down when we got married. So we dated, we sold some at the farmers markets. And we were like, okay, if we could sell like 5 to 10 of these a day, we could probably make like $50,000 to $60,000 a year. Like that would be like enough for us to get by, like as newlyweds, like totally. And I was like babysitting on the side, and he was coaching soccer, so there was other supplemental income coming in. So we were like, this would be totally enough. So we were like, yeah, let's just see if we can sell like 5 to 10 wallets a day. And like in our minds at that point, I don't know if it was like much bigger than that. Like it was just, let's kind of get to that point and see where we can go from there. We got to the end of my husband's like college career where he was deciding whether he was going to play professional soccer or take over his dad's, like go into financial planning with his dad's to eventually take over his dad's financial planning firm. And this wallet idea was right in front of us too. So that was an option. And we were like, we have nothing on the line. Like, we don't have a car payment. We don't have a mortgage. We don't have any kids yet. Like, let's just see if we can
swing now.
Swing now. Like, let's just go for it and see what happens. And if we can make $50,000 to $60,000 this first year with this, like, that's a win. And then we'll just like go for it. And if nothing happens, we gave ourselves 6 months. So this was at the very beginning of 2015, which is when we officially like incorporated as an LLC. And we were like, let's just go 6 months. We'll give it as like much of our efforts as we can and see what happens.
Yeah.
And in those first 6 months, we like launched a legit Kickstarter campaign and did $35,000 on it. And then we launched our website within those first 6 months and did like $16,000 within the first like few days. And then by the end of year one, I think we'd done around like $130,000 in sales.
Okay, so you went from the farmer's market, you did the Kickstarter,
yeah, launched our website.
6 months,
yeah,
it obviously started to work.
Yeah,
fast forward 10 years later, you don't need to tell us all the revenues, but now you're being sold internationally. You're in a lot of stores. You're a real company.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Has your purpose changed? Right, like it started out as a lifestyle business. Has it changed as you've gotten bigger and it's become more real? Like, is there a number? When are you going to sell it? Or is it a lifestyle? Is there a cause behind it? Like, walk me through the purpose now.
Yeah. So crazy to like even think about. I think right now, obviously our purpose it's definitely changed. Like we have way more employees. Like it's not just my husband and I. There's like 25 of us.
Okay.
And that's like people who are working on the business like on a daily basis. We have more employees than that who are like on our retail side of things, who work at our our owned retail locations, and they're like part-time employees. So there's probably like 35 who, if you include those individuals. But people who are like corporate employees, it's around 25. So I would say like my daily purpose going into the office is to provide for these individuals and make sure that they have their needs taken care of and their livelihoods enriched and their needs met on a daily basis. And then beyond that, like our goal is to become the go-to carry brand like worldwide. Like we want everyone to use and love our products around the world. So it's changed from just like, oh, this meets our own little lifestyle and funds our own needs just right here in Provo, Utah, to we want to like be known worldwide. So there's that purpose, but then it's helped fund other ventures of mine and Colby's that I think this is the Factory for Good podcast.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say that that is, we love to hear about the business because it's your identity, right? It's everything about your relationship. That is very important.
Yeah.
But it's setting up, again, switching your factory to just produce profit or produce money, but to try to figure out what the good is that you want to be. And we were talking about pre-camera, but walk through Carry On first.
Yeah. So we create carry accessories. So thread wallets, we started out with just a slim minimalist wallet, and then we branched into lanyards, which kind of are very simple, silly little products. If you think about them, they're like a glorified rubber band and then a lanyard. And then we've launched into the bags and AirPod cases, phone tech accessories. And we have all types of bags, backpacks, utility totes, other really great bags. And during the COVID pandemic, my husband, his mom has been an alcoholic her whole life. So, and her whole life, my husband's whole life.
Yeah.
And he has really only known her to be an addict. And she got sober for a few years, and then during the COVID pandemic relapsed and was in a really awful binge cycle. And we really thought she was going to die. And my husband is a very happy-go-lucky, easygoing guy, but COVID really sparked his anxiety to another level, like trying to keep the company afloat during such uncertainty, and then seeing his mom relapse to this like level of, we don't know if she'll make it to the next day, was really awful. So there was panic attacks, like daily anxiety. It was really, really scary. And we kind of leaned into this motto at Thread of like carry on. Like we create carry accessories, and we hope that we can tell stories through this time of uncertainty for our employees and for our customers of progression. And we pick ourselves up after we fall down, and we really want to inspire people to move forward in times of uncertainty. So that's a narrative that we leaned into in the business. And during that time, my husband also started kind of leaning into that motto himself, was like, carry on. Like, I've got to just keep going. I've got to move forward during these times of uncertainty. And he now has it tattooed on his wrist, carry on, right above a scar that he has from where he fell skateboarding. And so anyway, skateboarding has always, any board sport I should say, has been kind of like a form of therapy for him. Therapy, we go to therapy regularly together. He's been on medication. Like, we're advocates for all sorts of these things that can help your mental health. But skateboarding has been a source of therapy for him throughout his life. Like, the camaraderie it brings him with his friends and the community. He would, during COVID and beyond, he would go skateboarding after work. We'd come home, have dinner as a family, get the kids down. And then in the evenings, he would go skateboard with friends. We had a little mini ramp in the back of our office, and he'd go skate with friends and be gone till like 2 a.m. And they would skate for a little bit, but then what would end up happening is then they would just talk and just, hey, how are things going with you? How are you hanging in there? And they'd end up in these like deep conversations about life and their marriages and how things were, going and what they could do for each other. And skateboarding itself was like a mental release for him. And he calls it his meditation in motion. So he really relied on skateboarding to help him through a lot of this trauma that he was going through. And he realized that skateboarding itself is a great teacher because it is a sport that you have to pick yourself up after you fall down. You have to overcome your fears because you're dropping in. You have to, you fall down hard sometimes. Like, it just is a really hard sport sometimes. And it's an individual sport. Like, you can't rely on other people to do things for you or blame it on other people or
take ownership of it.
Yourself. So he really he started to love that aspect of the sport too, and like think about these things. And around that time, he got connected with a sports psychologist who loved that aspect of it too. And so together they started developing and talking about developing this curriculum, which they now call the Carry On curriculum. And they talked about combining forces, which now they built this nonprofit called the Carry On. We call it the Carry On Foundation, which is my husband's nonprofit that he started. We now have a facility in the back of our offices at our Thread headquarters in Provo, Utah. It's this beautiful skate park where we have this curriculum, the Carry On curriculum, that teaches youth mental health skills through skateboarding. So youth ages 3 to 18, and we have adult classes as well, can come in and you learn confidence and character and connection and the importance of overcoming fears and how to breathe through those fears and how to pick yourself up after you've fallen down and all of these really beautiful skill sets to help you that we hope will translate to adulthood. So that when you are in a career and something happens that's really scary, or you get fired, or your parent is in a binge cycle or something, that you don't spiral. You know how to talk positively to yourself. You know how to have these breathing techniques. You know how to overcome these negative self-talk patterns, like whatever it is. So it's kind of like a preventative measure for destructive mental health patterns. And it's been really beautiful to watch these kids and parents come in and say, this has changed my child's life. Yeah. Like they didn't have friends, now they have friends, or my kid never succeeded with team sports, but they love coming here.
Yeah.
And even my own children, seeing them like on the high dive at the pool, using their power stance and their power words and saying like, oh, Mom, I went from a red mindset to a green mindset. Like I was really scared, but I was able to talk myself into, jumping off the diving board because I am strong, I am powerful, I'm capable. Like my 6-year-old saying things like that. And it's like they learned that at Carry On.
And that, how does that, I mean, this is what I respect. This is why I wanted to talk to you, right?
Yeah.
Is obviously Thread Wallets is a cool business, but it's not just about the business of Thread. It's that this has clearly been infused into your culture. And obviously your husband, but how about the company? How about the employees? Is this something people like rally behind? Do they like the fact that nonprofit's happening in the back of the business?
Yeah, I think they all love it. And that's something that like my husband has done a really fabulous job of incorporating that same attitude that is present at Carry On, the foundation, the nonprofit, into our work culture, to like not be afraid of failure. And if you do make a mistake, that it's okay and that we take ownership of it and that we rally around those individuals and that there's no blame and we just like embrace it and we have shallow rock bottoms. And like, I think everyone at Thread is really appreciative of that culture and that they definitely translate. Like it's very apparent when you step into Thread. Everyone says that. Like you come to our building, the first thing you say when you leave is like, wow, we can tell you have like an incredible culture here. And it's just so apparent.
So it's one of the things that is daunting about a nonprofit, but also exciting is that there's no top of the mountain, right? Like I could ask you right now, Thread Wallets, like what's your goal with Thread Wallets financially? You could give me a number or give me a time frame or whatever, or a thing you want to hit. But with mental health and anxiety and building confidence, it's like an unconquerable goal.
Totally.
Like there's no peak at the top of this mountain. So how does your husband think about Carry On and like where he's taking it and what's motivating him like long term there?
Wow. Yeah, my husband is a dreamer. And so sometimes I feel like I have to like kind of rein him in a little bit because it's like he wants to do everything. He has a big vision for it, actually. He really wants to spread into other arenas and other like what's the word for it? I can't think of the word, but other sports, like other types of sports, because really the Carry On curriculum can be applied to any sport. Like it's not just skateboarding. It can be applied to team sports as well. Like they have their, and I'm going to blank on them, but the 4 C's, I think they're character, competence, connection, and community. I think I'd have to go check those. But like really any sport can help teach those things. And so they want to help build a curriculum, like the carry-on curriculum that could be facilitated through any sport, so that people could buy the access to the curriculum and help teach it to their soccer teams. And so that's like a thing they want to do. I think they want to do like carry-on camp where people could come and do like summer camps at Carry On. They want to have like a media arm that helps teach kids.
And you said it's self-sustaining. It started initially, Thread, I think, supported it to a degree, but
and
now
we still
it's
donate some and stuff. And Thread helps keep it. I mean, it's attached to our office building. It's in the very back. So Carry On and Thread, there's still so many synergies there. But yeah, they're opening up another location in South Jordan, and we've got donors that are behind it that are helping sustain it, and then just the fact that parents and kids all the classes are getting filled regularly. So it's
one of the things I've been fascinated with as I've been having more of these conversations and digging into Factory for Good stuff is, you know, you could have this conversation of, is it profit or is it purpose, right? What's better?
Mm-hmm.
And we can get into that, but the fusion of them is actually where I find a lot of power, and I'm seeing a lot of really cool stuff happen where people are saying, no, I have a business that employs people and we love our product, and you know, like we want to grow it because it provides opportunity and it provides all the resources. But then also like that passion that drives your husband, and we're going to talk about yours in a second, but that drives Carry On is it's like, hey, I love my for-profit business and I love my for-purpose business.
Yeah.
And they can be in harmony. They don't have to be black or white or
absolutely
church and state. And so I love hearing these stories. Cotopaxi was one of the originals that kind of got me inspired.
Totally.
Of like, oh, I love it. Like they actually want to build a product and make money and make it really big.
Yeah.
But they also, employees and founders and people involved, be like, no, there's also something above just chasing the profit. And I think that's a healthy thing too.
Well, and that's actually like really what kind of got us started on this whole train, is that Davis Smith from the founder of Cotopaxi, is on our board, on our advisory board at Thread. And he talks a lot to us about capitalism for good.
Yeah.
And that those two things, like you said, don't have to be at odds with each other. Like purpose and profit don't have to be at odds with each other. And so that's kind of when we started these two things. Like when around the same time he came on to our board was when Carry On kind of got its legs. And they really don't. Like, I think capitalism can be used for good. And I don't think that just because you're putting more product out in the world, or just because you have a company that is making a lot of money, or, you know, it's being creative. Like, even if we just had a company that was for profit, so much good has come from that. Like, we've donated so much money just in that organization to other nonprofits. Encircle, Protect Our Winters. We've done Burton's nonprofit Chill. Like, we've done so much giving with just that, our for-profit business. And then just the fact that we're employing people and every day they get to come in and use their creative energies on something. And there's so much friendship and camaraderie there. Feels really good. Like a factory for good there. Like you come into our office and it feels like a factory for good. Like everyone in our office loves each other, and there's laughter and there's community and there's good happening there. So yeah, I think that it doesn't have to be
my goal is
one
to
or the
say
other.
Capitalism for good so many times that I can take it from Davis, that people will think I said it. Not
That's
Davis.
perfect. Yeah.
So Davis,
Capitalism
I know
for
he's in
good.
Brazil right
Capitalism for
now.
good.
Hopefully he's not
Capitalism for
listening.
good.
So when he gets back in 2 years,
You're just like,
you know,
I
took it, Davis.
Trademark that.
Tell me about, so you talked to me about your husband's journey and, you know, his Carry On initiative, which you supported, but then you also have another cause that you're passionate about.
Yes, I am extremely passionate about supporting female founders. Like less than 2% of venture capital dollars goes to female founded businesses. So as a female founder myself, I have just wanted to support and pave the way for other female founders and make sure that they feel supported in everything that they do. So back in 2022, I got invited to go to Israel with a group of Forbes 30 Under 30 alumni, and a nonprofit took just a group of women out from Forbes 30 Under 30 alumni out to Israel. And I still am like, I don't know how I got accepted to that. I don't know. It was really, really amazing experience. But when I went, it just is different when you travel with a group of women who've built something. The vulnerabilities, like every woman that I've talked to says that they open up differently when it's just women than when there's men in the room. And so I got home from that and I was like, I want to replicate that for women. So I started a separate business networking organization, but it doesn't really feel like networking. I feel like the word networking kind of feels stale, maybe. Like when you think of networking, It's just like...
Create a community, though. Like an active community where there's a support group for other people where they have that vulnerability. I get it.
So I created a business. It's not a nonprofit, but it feels more like a nonprofit. I didn't want to do after.
By the way, we can almost take away the word for-profit or nonprofit. One of the things one of the 3 pillars of Factory is purpose.
Yeah.
And it's like in our conversations, I can feel your passion seep out when you talk about things that you just have purpose for.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's that for us, creating a Factory for Good, the first element is just like having real purpose. And what you just said is you want to give women an opportunity to feel comfortable and in a safe environment and to have the resources to start a company if that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
And because right now the ecosystem isn't, it's not that it's against women, but it doesn't have some of the openings that it's like, you know, a women only area, and that's a purpose that drives you.
Yeah.
And that's powerful.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you. I agree. I saw when my husband started Carry On as a nonprofit, I think nonprofits are amazing, but and as I'm sure you're seeing, there's just so many like legalities to the profit world when it comes to fundraising, what you can and can't do. And I was like, I just feel like having it be for profit makes it just a little bit more clean cut. And so the Female Founders Only is for profit, but it is very much for purpose. It's very purpose driven. So after this trip that I did to Israel, I came back and I was like, I'm going to try to do everything that I can to open up doors for women that I've been able to have opened up. Because what's really interesting is if a female founder has a male co-founder, like I think it's 17% of VC dollars is like opens up to them. So it's like the numbers drastically and the doors open drastically if you have a male co-founder. So, and we haven't raised money, but that just kind of illustrates what happens when you have a male co-founder. Like just more doors are open to you. So I've had more doors open to me because Colby and I have done this together. So I started out, we have monthly networking opportunities here in Utah where we have kind of out of the box, where it's not just like, oh, have a lunch and you wear a name tag and you come and shake hands like, hi, I'm this. But we do like cold plunge. We do on this last networking event we had a small business in Utah. She makes really cool phone cases with epoxy and stamps, and she came, and we've done gourmet gingerbread houses with a small business. With her business is called Judy's Gingerbread, so she'll walk us through like a whole gingerbread workshop, and we've done jewelry making at the Gem Studio. So very like out of the box, more connective, more like hands-on, like you're coming to hang out with your girlfriends. And if you talk about business, great. If you talk about life, that's great too. So we do monthly activities like that. And then we've done travel experiences to Bali, Morocco, Costa Rica, Glacier National Park. And it's been really, really amazing to see what comes from those opportunities. It's opened doors like for women that are just mind-blowing. Like one of the girls that has come to these networking events, she's been in Target for a couple years. And because she's been in Target, another girl that came into the networking event got her into Target. Like that happened because of this networking event. And then like on a personal level, we were in Costa Rica and there were women who have been through divorce or miscarriage or other very personal things that are opening up about these very personal life experiences that you couldn't open up about in front of a large networking group that had male and female, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying, like, how do I continue to grow my business when I'm sitting here going through this divorce? Like, this is the worst thing I've ever gone through, and this is horrible. Like, my husband just told me, like, right before this, that he wants a divorce. And then you have another woman saying, I've been there and I've done it, and I kept growing my business, and you're going to do it. You're going to do it, and you're going to be okay. And it's just these like beautiful experiences that are helping these women continue to thrive. And it's just incredible.
That's awesome. So the first pillar of Factory is purpose, which you can feel what your purpose is. But the second thing is actually relationships. And what you're talking about with the female founders is creating these connections, these relationships of people feel that they have a safety net. They feel like there's other people that are supporting them and rooting for them, and it gives them confidence to have success. And honestly, you see that across the world, and whether it's fighting for poverty or water or education or rights or just even connection, these are all things fundamental that people need. Yeah. And it's cool to see that one of your purposes is to give that out to the world.
Yeah.
One of my last questions for you. It's going to be an open-ended question. I'm curious to know where you're going to take it. What are you most proud of?
I think what I'm most proud of, and I thought about it as you were talking about, it came up in my mind with like the purpose in terms of Carry On and Thread, and even just this. I'm really, really proud of the fact that we're showing our daughters. We have 3 daughters. Our oldest is 8, and then we have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. I really want my daughters to grow up seeing my husband and I working together towards these goals of making the world a better place, and working together on projects and bettering our community, local and wherever the world, wherever we are in the world. But that they get to see personally, like as a woman, that you can do all of these different things. Like, I'm so proud, and it's really hard to juggle sometimes. Like, I feel that guilt occasionally that I'm not always at home, or that they maybe don't get me 24/7. But I'm really, really proud that they get to see, hopefully modeled for them, what they can become. That they get to see that, and they get to see that with Thread, but also with their dad at Carry On, building this thing. And they'll say that, like, why do you have to go to work today? To both Colby and I, because we are both very present parents, and it's hard, but I also feel honored to be able to tell them, because mommy and daddy are building this with Carry On, or mommy and daddy are doing this with Thread, or if I have to be away at a meeting for female founders only, like, because mommy is doing this to help these other women. Like, I want them to see and know that helping others reach their potential, whether that's with Carry On or with female founders only, or whatever we're building at Thread, that the world is bigger than like just our little home, and that there's so much more. And I'm just really proud that they're seeing that modeled. And I hope that they don't ever, I just hope they don't ever take that for granted, and that we don't ever take that we have this opportunity to do that for them for granted.
So you just described the third pillar and everything that we're trying to convey. We think that the right equation in life with prosperity, meaning if you're building a business, is to maintain purpose, to have purpose with why you're doing it, not just to create profits, but there's something behind it. Second thing is these relationships. You said not only with the female founders or the people your husband connects with, but with your kids, obviously people you care about more than anyone else in the world. And what you described was the third pillar, which is legacy. And the legacy is that mommy and daddy are working together to try to make the world a better place. And we want you to do it with us. And we want to teach you what it looks like. And the great equation is, as you build Carry On and female founders and Thread, you become a better person and you grow from it and your kids grow from it.
Totally.
And that becomes this win-win scenario that we really buy into, that a true factory for good isn't always just for the person in need. It's actually for yourself and for your family and for those that you care about. while also doing it for other people, whether it's locally or internationally, whatever it is that your focus is. And so for us, hearing that story, it's motivating to me, and really appreciate you being here, and thanks for coming.
Yeah, I think that like for a while with Thread, it was like, oh, when we sell Thread, or when we are making $30 million in and ARR
then
or whatever, then we can write checks and we can like make give more money, and I think it's really easy you want to wait for those moments, and I think writing a check is like the easiest way to just, okay, here you go. But like our kids wouldn't see that. And I want my kids to see that like we're giving our time, and like we're giving our resources, and we're giving our talents to building something that's bigger than us. And so I love that. I think your 3 pillars are beautiful.
And also, way too many people wait. Hey, when I get to the top of the mountain, when I get to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
The thing is that changes all the time.
All the time.
And so I think that's really powerful, because a lot of people kind of wait. Once I exit, I'll do X.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't know what your good is right now, start working on it. Start figuring out where you can put it.
And it can shift a little bit along the way. Like
whether it's time or money, start something. Start figuring out where you want to give good, and go from there. But thank you so much, McKenzie.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was such a fun conversation.